enough right at the door because they were on the heating pad. We did get down to at least 24 last night. Tux is up the hill using the bathroom. I think he's on his way back now. I may have to go help. He's here. I saw him. He's fine. Good morning, guys. Hi. Well, here's everybody but Tux. Okay, Tux is just up there in the sun. I see him. I'll assist him past these guys. Come on, Tuxie! Breakfast! Do you guys not go up top because... Hi, Morris. Because Tux isn't up there to lead you that that's where the food is? Here we go. Alright. Here. Hi, Morris. Good morning. Stripes at my leg. Now everything's right. I finally remembered to take a broom around and try to get the cobwebs off that window, and it's better. I can't see them from inside now. I mean, I had the broom up there for 3 or 4 minutes above my head because that's low, and I still have 2 up there, darn it. Well, I worked hard at it. I'm sorry I didn't get it all the way clean. I walked around the whole house this morning with the broom, taking down cobwebs, trying to make things look nice. Maybe I can hit it with the ego blower, but it's a little far for that to be effective. But maybe, you never know. Different angle than the broom down on the ground, trying to curve into a spot that it just couldn't possibly curve into. Everything is good this morning. It's just cold. Excuse me. I've got ice in the water bowl over here. It's not quite solid, but this one up here near the house, it doesn't get quite as frozen. I'll go replace it. I've already done all the ones in the backyard. It's not looking good for snow. Well, we were told a week out that all the hype not to pay attention to it, and unfortunately, it's still not looking good. It hasn't changed for the better for us. Hi, Gray. Good morning. Hi. Hi. Good girl. Take the empty one away. I need my tall guy to help pull those down. It's time to pack them up.
Sure, I understand.
And I've pulled a few things to put up there. Well, it won't be very busy until Valentine's Day, but I do have some stuff. I've got my snowman couple baby wreath on the front door.
Oh, I see it.
And I've packed up all the Anna Lee except for one blue and white snowman.
You've changed this out.
Yeah, I did, but I didn't want to show that yet until
I'm
I printed another wreath, another bow to go up at the top. I found that I do much prefer them with the bow, so and probably with the light coming in, they can't see it good anyway. So, right. But yeah, I tell you though, I'm having a really hard time thinking about taking down that black kitty cat pushing the Christmas tree over. I need to find a suitable Valentine or snow scene, or I'm used to looking up and enjoying that now, so
that's right.
That might be there for a day or two.
Sure.
I would swap to a snowflake tablecloth here if I had one. I found one on eBay for a good price. It's similar to this pattern, or well, I've got several around the house. The snowman pattern there. Hopefully it'll show up sometime this week. But I did go ahead and swap here since I have, I'm not going to take down that village for a while yet. Sometimes I think I even leave it up through Valentine's Day because, so the fabric might switch again until it's time to put out, Easter. When it's time to put out the Easter village, I think this village comes down. Unless I find a village in the Valentine's Day stuff. And I did stick blue things up here. I'm not super happy with it, but it's fine. It's okay. And I added a snowman up here. I was looking for him yesterday and I finally found where he was. I've got snowmen that look like they need to be out at Christmas, and I've got some that look like January, and they were mixed, so when I repack them back up, I need to fix that.
Well, here we go. I'm finally going to share with y'all the home automation stuff that I've been setting up. I've been trying to get home automation set up for years. Literally, I think my very first attempt to automate was back in 1985 using X10 devices from Radio Shack. The very first thing I tried to control all those years ago, besides just turning lights on and off, was the water heater. And I have, here in the last few days, you probably saw a video where I've replaced one of the Shelly devices on the water heater that I use to control the water heater, so that it will measure the temperature of the water in the tank, the ambient temperature in the crawl space, and also the output temperature of the water coming out of the tank going to the rest of the house. So that device that does all that is named GeoSpring. So this GeoSpring is the control for the water heater, which is a GeoSpring heat pump water heater. Okay, and as you can see, it's got 3 temperatures, and I can go zoom in a little bit better. I'm going to turn off the max, but basically it has the crawl space temperature, and it tells you that the average was 61. Now this is incorrect. I've got to move the probe because it's picking up heat whenever the heat pump water heater is not running. It's picking up the heat given off by the tank. Once the heat pump water heater runs, it actually is accurately measuring the temperature of the crawl space because it's drawing air over the sensor. And so the minimum of the 51.8 here, that number is probably accurate. It probably was, so it's about 51 to 52 degrees in the crawl space right now. And then the temperature of the water, you can see here, it says tank temperature. That's the water inside the tank. And as you can see, it goes up and down. It varies from about 105 here to about 125. It said that the maximum here was 126, and the minimum was 102. Now, the heat pump water heaters, it's nice that they don't use a lot of energy, but the problem is the recovery time. When you drain the tank, it can take hours for it to recover and get the water back up. Now, I have it set for 140 degrees, and I've never seen it. It tends to kick off at this 126, 127. I've noticed for the last, because I've only had the ability to measure the tank temperature for the last few days. So I don't know, maybe the sensor isn't accurate, or maybe I don't have it in good location. I don't know. I haven't figured it out. But the bottom line is it certainly is showing the tank is range of temperature, goes from basically 100 up to 125, 130 degrees. The water does. And, once it gets down to like 100 degrees, the water feels warm coming out, but it's probably not what you would want to take a shower in. To be comfortable, you got to have it up to like 105, 108 degrees, and then to be able to take a shower. Anyway, I just thought I'd show you that part, but there's something else interesting that happened today. Today is off-peak all day. There is a discount window from 11 till 4 p.m. But I have also automated the heat strips in the air handler for our heat pump, which is what we use to heat our house. Right now, the air handler, I have an energy monitor on it, and it's using 193 watts right now, and that energy consumption is because the fan is running on high speed. The air handler has basically 3 fan speeds. It's an ECM, an electrically commutated motor, so it could be run at any number of speeds, but because of the way the thermostat works, the thermostat only has 3 settings. It has a circulate mode, fan speed for circulate, and that basically is the low speed. It just keeps the air moving in the house. And I have the air handler set, or the thermostat set to circulate mode, so that the air continuously circulates in the house, which means it goes through the air handler, and in the air handler I have a UV light installed, so the air is passing by that UV light source, and hopefully that helps keep the allergens and things that are in the air. It helps kill those. So that's why I run the air handler on circulate. But when it's calling for heat, it has 2 speeds. It has a high speed and a low speed, or stage 1 and stage 2. So the air handler basically has 3 settings. When it runs on circulate, it's using about 46 watt hours. When it's running on low speed, it's like 70 watt hours, and then when it runs on high speed, it's about 87, almost 90 watt hours. I'll zoom in here a little bit closer on that, on the consumption. And here I can make this bigger, and I could turn off the previous day. So if you look here, the consumption was 46 watt hours from midnight to 1 a.m. From 1 a.m. to 2 a.m. it was 45.62, which is only slightly more. And as you can see, the consumption is slightly more from 2 to 3, 3 to 4, and so forth. It goes up slightly. And then here at 7 o'clock, it's 87.45. And I'll take you through this. So from I'm going to switch to the hourly mode. So I'm going up here, clicking on hourly. And so it's giving me 1 hour of data, and going back up to midnight, you'll see that for the entire hour, it was using 0.77 watt hours per minute. Notice the scale is 1 watt hour. So this is the circulate mode. The fan was just running on its lowest speed, which is slower than low. It just moves the air through the air handler, keeps the air circulating, and in that hour it used 46 watt hours. All right, so from 1 to 2 a.m. it's basically the same thing, and the reason it's only circulating is that I changed the thermostat from 72 degrees to 66 degrees at 11:30 p.m. So from basically 11:30 till 1 to 2 o'clock in the morning, there's no need for the heat pump to run, so it just circulates air. And now you can see from 2 to 3 a.m. We are in the circulate mode, which is 0.77 watt hours, but then all of a sudden you see it jump up here to 1.47 watt hours. That's what it uses whenever the fan's on low speed. So the heat pump turned on to add heat to the house, so it got to be something below 66 degrees at about 2:34, and it ran till 2:40, heating the house, and it didn't run. It just started circulating air for the rest of the hour, and then right at the end of the hour at 2:57, it turned on low speed again. And then if I go to the 3 to 4 time frame, you can see it's cycling on and off between circulate and low speed. That's 3 to 4. 4 to 5. As you notice, the off cycles, or the circulate mode, is getting lower and lower. And here's 5 to 6. And here's 6 to 7. Now, again, it's, pulling. This is the fan running. It's getting close. It's probably actually on high speed mode at this point, because it's getting really close to that 87. Here, the next hour will be the difference. Yeah, so here we go. Now the scale has changed, so it's 1.5 watt hours. It's used right at 90 watts. So this is the speed in which the fan runs on high. So from the heat pump was on continuously from 7 to 8 a.m. trying to keep the house at 60 degrees, but it was not using the heat strips. It's just the heat pump was running. But now something interesting is going to happen from 7 to 8 a.m. So for the first 30 minutes, the heat pump is running at this very low rate, and then all of a sudden here at 8:24, it jumps up. Notice the scale this is 100 watt hours and 200. So this is literally 100 times more energy than it is over here. So what happened here is the defrost cycle. So it took a defrost cycle from 8:24 to 8:26. It kicked on and ran the heat strips to take a defrost cycle. Then it went back to normal heating mode until 8:30. And at 8:30 it kicked on the heat strips again. And that's because the thermostat, if it falls behind for more than 30 minutes, it will turn on the auxiliary heat, the heat strips. So at 8 o'clock, I told the thermostat to raise the temperature from 66 degrees to 70 degrees. And so it started a clock at that point, because obviously the heat pump was having difficulty keeping 66 degrees. So it was not able to raise the temperature close enough to 70 degrees in that 30-minute window by itself, that the thermostat says, well, I need to turn on the auxiliary heat, or what I call the heat strips. So it turned on the heat strips at 8:30, and the heat strips ran, and the house was something less than 70 degrees, and it ran them until 8:44 or 8:43, and it turned off the heat strips. So during that basically 13-minute period, the heat strips were running, and the house heated up from somewhere around 66 to pretty close to 70 degrees, but it doesn't go all the way up to 70 degrees. And then the heat strips turned off from 8:44, and then all of a sudden they kicked back on at 8:50, and that's because the house heated up and there was like a burst of heat, but then the heat pump continued to run, the air continued to circulate, and that wave of heat that passed by the thermostat dissipated, and then the thermostat said, oh, it's gotten too cool here again. So it kicked the heat strips back on for a period of time, just a couple minutes, from 8:48 till 8:54, and then it turned them off again, because again it got close enough to the desired temperature that the thermostat said, okay, good, you don't need the heat strips, you can just use the heat pump. And basically that's what it did. It continued to run the fan. This was actually on low speed here, and then it kicked it up to high speed here for the rest of the hour. and then from 10 to 11, it kicked the heat strips on a couple times during that window from 10 to 11 to get it closer to 70 degrees. In other words, if the heat pump isn't keeping it close enough to 70 degrees by just running the heat pump part, the auxiliary heat, the heat strips kick on to supplement the heat to get it closer to the target temperature. Well, at 11 o'clock, I bumped the thermostat, have it programmed to change the thermostat from 70 degrees to 72 degrees because that's when the discount window starts. So up till now, off-peak has been the rate plan, and that's about 13 cents. But at 11 o'clock, it goes down to, with tax, about 8 cents per kilowatt hour. So I raised the temperature of the house on up from 70 to 72 degrees, and so that it did that from 11 o'clock to about 11:08, and it turned the heat strips on, and then it basically continuously ran the heat pump from that point because it never really has gotten warm enough that the heat pump is turned off. So the heat pump is still running to this very minute, and it's like 15 minutes after 1 right now. It's been running continuously on high speed to keep the house up to temperature. So now this day graph here will make a little bit more sense. As you can see, there's small increases in energy throughout the time, and then once the heat strips kick on, the energy increases quite a bit. Anyway, I have very much enjoyed the Shelly cloud application for energy monitoring and controlling my devices. I've been quite happy with it. To get the hourly data, or to be able to see things from minute to minute within an hour, you have to use the premium plan, which is $3 a month, and I've opted for that. For free, you get this level of data, but if you want to zero in on to the hourly data, you have to pay the $3 a month. But I very much like it, have enjoyed it, and this is, shows you the typical use of energy in our home. The only difference between today and like on a Monday, I have automation in place that will not allow the heat strips to turn on during peak. So even if the thermostat says I'm so far behind, I would like to run the heat strips, and it turns them on, my automation routine prevents those heat strips from running until 9 a.m. and then at 9 a.m. The heat strips can run, and from that point on there's no difference between a normal peak day and an off-peak day. It's strictly, I do not allow the heat strips to run during peak unless it's a defrost cycle. The automation routine is smart enough to say, hey, it's taking a defrost cycle, I must run the heat strips during the defrost cycle, so it will let them run then, but it won't let it supplement heat during peak.
It's deceptively nice looking out there today. It's only 44 degrees and it's breezy, so not really a great day. We just been doing a bunch of stuff at the house. Don filmed a Shelly video. He got his numbers and charts and got some events to happen that made today a good day to do that, and filmed that for us. And so I'm trying to say, as it's a little late, it's going 10 till 3. We're running an errand, and then we're going to walk before we head back to the house. Still fasting. I guess we haven't decided if we're eating today or not. So far today we haven't eaten. Don's had his coffee though.
Yeah, I had coffee.
I had
black coffee. I only have it.
Right, well that's the only way you drink it. Yeah. We'll see. The only part of the day that's really hard is right around the dinner time, when your hormones kick in and say, oh, it's time for you to eat. The rest of the time it's not too bad. We seriously almost ate in the car and napped.
Yeah,
it was really close.
Well,
the sun, blowing. Yeah, that's not nice out here, and the sun felt really good. And
41 and the wind's blowing.
I had really high energy at the house this morning, but about the time we left and I sat down, I lost it. I'm feeling hungry and yeah. See the flags? It's 41 degrees out here, but WeatherBug says it feels like 34, and Don and I definitely believe that. The wind is just not making it pleasant out here. I'm back to do bags 15 and 16. 15 is the roof and 16 is the wheelbase. It's long, wow. Jim. It's long. Just wow. Saying, they do publish the dimensions of the finished model on the description on the Lego website, and yeah. I sure as heck didn't read it.
I understand.
But see, the engine and the coal tender are only as long as one of the cars, and that's the part I was really super interested in. Oh, okay. So is that longer than 4 feet?
It's probably 4 feet, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it's longer than 4 feet.
So this is what I would call display track.
Sure.
It's got this texture. Well, I told you it's stick built instead of the track on the table.
Right.
I don't know.
46 inches.
Okay. 46, huh?
Yep.
So just to not be quite 4 feet.
Sorry, 45 and 7/8.
Well, no. But I mean, it's, not 48. It's just under 4 feet. Okay.
Yeah, so you could sit it on top of one of your cabinets because those aren't quite 48.
Well, that was why I was asking if it was longer than 4 feet or not. So, I mean, obviously, there's not going to be a problem with the engine going around this track. But even if I hooked it up, well, now I'm going to say that's not true. Okay, go over there. Well, here, you hold.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so if we lay it on its side.
Yeah.
Okay, these do this.
Yeah.
It might actually go around that corner over there.
Oh, I'm sure it will.
It might. Well, I have, make it so I'm in the frame. It's hard. You can use the scroll wheel.
Sorry. There we go.
As soon as the tablecloth comes, the snowman, blue tablecloth, I will take everything off and test the train. And then I was planning on putting everything back for a few weeks. It doesn't take that long to lift it off and put it back. We'll see, maybe.
Sure.
I would just set up some more track, like someplace to watch it go, but I don't know where I would do that because my Lego table upstairs in the garage is full. I can't. Yeah, full. That ain't happening either.
Nope.
You got a piece of spare plywood laying around, a flat surface just for a few minutes? We don't have a full piece of plywood.
I take the Fifth Amendment.
Well, probably if we did, it would be hard to get to.
Well, maybe.
Oh, okay. Well, we do have the other Lego table. We could lay it down long enough to put some track on it and test
That's true. We could do that.
Yeah, I've got an itch to see it go, and I know a few other people, Dennis in particular, would be interested to see it.
Sure.
Running. So.
I agree.
It's done, though. It's done.
Yeah. It looks great. You did a wonderful job. It's incredibly detailed.
Yeah, it's a nice set. I mean, look at the... Make sure it's pointing down.
Oh.
Look at the details in
trucks,
the underneath. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there she is.
Good job, Sweet Pea.
Thank you.
Yep, you did great.